everybody, and welcome back to Paper Crafting with Angelina. It's nice to see you here again. Today I'm going to show you how I created this adorable little note card box using the Cricut Cartridge Artiste, and it has been created in order to accommodate these little note cards. So let's head over to my workbench and get started. See you over there. Okay, so here is my note card box, and it's holding 4 envelopes and 4 cards, and I decorated everything to be matching. So here's the 4 cards, and I'll go through how I created those as well as the matching envelopes. And one of them I stamped it all over, and then I ran it through the envelope the envelope punch board. But after that I decided I wanted the fronts left white, so I'll show you how, well, I'll explain to you how I did those. The box is cut using the Cricut Craft Room, and then I used the Artiste cartridge in the Cricut Craft Room. And here on page 57 is the box. It's the 3D objects. And this, when I did cut it, what I basically did is I made sure that the center section would accommodate the size of the card, which is 2 3/4 by 4 inches. So I just made sure the inside part would accommodate a card that size. And so basically I needed to cut it at 10.944 by 5.667. And then I went ahead and just assembled the box. It has the little score marks and everything. Then I took from the paper packet, the Lolly Doodle, each one of the pattern papers, or the borders and backgrounds and texture papers, has what they call a little border. So I took one of those strips, I wrapped it around the box, attached it, and then I covered that up with this piece, this panel here. To create the panel, what I did was I took a 2 by 3 1/4 piece of Daisy White cardstock, and I used this Hostess set that's in the current catalog for Close to My Heart, which is the spring and summer catalog for 2014, and this is A Mother's Love. And what I did is I took the background stamp and stamped it twice in sorbet, and then the foreground stamp, oh, and I stamped it off once, so I use second generation stamping on that, but then primary stamping with the I guess the definition stamp, and that's actually done in cotton candy. And then I took a piece of cotton candy cardstock and used the cotton candy and stamped it again. This one is actually fussy cut and then attached with 3D foam tape. Before I attached that, though, I stamped 4 leaves here, and that was done with the pear ink, and that is this stamp right here. So this one was also stamped with pear at second generation, and then this one with pear first generation, and that's how I got the 2 different colors there. After I did that, I attached this piece, and then I wrapped this baker's twine, which is in which is in Sunset, I believe. Wrapped that around 3 times and tied the little bow. I then took that piece and attached it to this piece of the B&T paper, which is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. Matted that onto the white one onto that with 3D foam tape, and then attached the whole panel onto the box. So that's how I created the box. Okay, and then the cards. Basically, I took a piece of cardstock that was 8 by 2 3/4. I stamped my sentiment on with the pear, and that's, again, from that same stamp set. And I stamped it once, and then I did a second generation stamping right on top, but slightly off, so that I create kind of a shadow. It can be best seen on this card. This card, I stamped this flower image directly onto the card base as well as the leaves, and then drew in my stem, and then attached the baker's twine after I tied it into a little bow. On these 2, they are stamped onto a piece of daisy white cardstock and then fussy cut out and then attach. And this one stem is done with the pear, and this one I did with the New England ivy, and all the stems were drawn in with the alcohol markers. And so that's how I did those two. And this last one, I stamped again the background image in sorbet directly onto the card, and then I stamped it again in sorbet onto another piece of daisy white, and then used the cotton candy for the foreground stamp and stamped that onto the sorbet. And then that was fussy cut out. I did the leaves, the stem, and then mounted that with 3D tape as well and attached the little ribbon, the little bow. And I did not do anything with the inside of these cards. So this is my little stamp note card gift set for my girlfriend. The envelopes are basically a piece of heavyweight copy paper cut to a 6x6 square, and then I use the envelope punch board. I put the piece of paper in and then lined it up over here at the 2 5/8 mark. Then I punched it here, scored it, and just like you use these, then you turn the piece of paper, you line up the score from the previous punch right here and punch it again, you score it, and I went around until I was done with that. I folded them into the envelope, and then I did the second generation stamping onto here. And I did stamp it closed, that's why you see this white here, but I wanted it to look just like a really pretty background paper when the envelope was closed. I went ahead, the first one I did not do it that way. I just stamped the whole 6x6 paper. So it ended up stamped on the front, which is fine if you're going to put maybe a label to give it to them and write the name. But I think for better purposes, it's just to leave it white. And then also the image doesn't line up perfectly here on the back. And after I did that, I just decided that I liked it better with all the images lined up and looking pretty. So basically that's how I put this little stamp set together. Thanks for stopping by. Please visit my blog at papercraftingwithangelina.blogspot.com. You can also find me on Facebook at Papercrafting with Angelina. In the meantime, happy paper crafting. Bye-bye.